Are you someone who wants to build a business around your core values and in alignment with the characteristics of a Proverbs 31 woman? Then I have something just for you. Now, I see you building your business and you're hustling and you're doing all the things. You're bending over backwards, trying to meet everyone's expectations, and you're doing the best you can to play wife, mom, leader, business owner, and all the several other hats that you're wearing. You love your business and your family, and you want to succeed at both, but you feel like you're spending more time drowning and overwhelmed than actually swimming towards the goal line. And you think if you can just keep going, you just hit that next goal, you reach that next promotion, your life will be better. Unfortunately, if you're building your business from a place that is out of alignment with your core values and out of alignment with the identity God has called you to stand in, then it doesn't matter how many goals you achieve or don't achieve. You will always eventually end up at the same place of feeling burnout, resentful, and lacking fulfillment. And I've been there myself, where I found that I wasn't prioritizing what matters most, and I was saying yes to things that I should not be saying yes to. And so it's time to get back to what's really important. If you want to build your business in alignment with the characteristics of a Proverbs 31 woman and in alignment with your core values, then I want to invite you to an exclusive one-on-one 12-week program called Rise Up. And you'll be working with me, Brandie Thomas, one of the business and mindset strategists here at Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising. And I will be taking you on this journey where you're going to be overcoming those burnout and stagnation, and you're going to learn how to scale your business in a way that's in alignment with the characteristics of a Proverbs 31 woman, in alignment with your core values. And you'll end up with a service-based business that's creating kingdom impact. So if this is something that you're looking for, I want to invite you to schedule a 50-minute discovery call with me at calendly.com/Brandie Thomas, and that's BRANDIE THOMAS. And I look forward to meeting you and serving you to create a mission-driven business with kingdom impact. You're listening to Rise to Your Purpose, a personal and spiritual development podcast for female entrepreneurs with a mission.
We're your hosts, Brandie and Natalie.
Hi, friends and purpose partners. Thank you guys so much for joining. Welcome to another episode of Rise to Your Purpose. I'm so excited to get to introduce you to my friend Katie. Is it McGilvray?
Yes.
Awesome. And Katie, I'm so excited to introduce you guys to her, because she is definitely a kingdompreneur, has a heart for mission-driven business and creating that kingdom impact. And she has her own brand called She Believes Brand, and a kingdom finance class that allows you to budget effectively. And so we're going to be diving into that today. But a little bit more about Katie. She is a wife of 8 years, a mama of 3 kids under 6, which praise praise against you, girl. She's been in the online space as a part-time work at home mama since her oldest daughter was little, over a year old, and she is a wellness entrepreneur, the co-creator of She Grows Virtual, which is an inclusive, supportive online community of female entrepreneurs that educates, mentors, and connects female entrepreneurs to market and grow their businesses online. And she's also the creator of the She Believes brand, which I mentioned.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's okay. Which I love this, because it's a community and ministry for women who are looking to go deeper in their walk, live with priorities, and put their faith into action. And you guys, if you've been following us for a while, here at Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising, we're totally aligned with that mission. So today we're actually going to be discussing her kingdom finance class and how to budget effectively so that your money is working for the kingdom. So Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. I would love for you to just tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into the space that you're in.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. So a little bit more about me. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have been in the online space for about 7 years. I started with health and wellness because that was kind of what I was craving and what I needed. I built a shirt company where I created custom apparel for women. And I loved it. And my biggest month, I brought in about 15K, which was amazing. And then I just felt like God kind of told me to walk away from it. Like it was time. I had 2 babies. My husband was traveling full time with the oil field. He's a pipeline welder, and it was just a lot. I was trading a lot of time for money. I was stressed out. I was overwhelmed. I was overworked and just not really feeling like I was walking my purpose anymore. I love creating. It has been my passion. And I think that's why I'm so drawn to entrepreneurship, is because I am a creative. I love to write. I love to speak. I love to teach. I love to give people tools that help them excel in their own life, their own businesses. And that's kind of been my approach to business is how can I serve other people? But when my first daughter was born, I really got this emphasis on kingdom purpose and legacy. And it's always kind of been in the back of my mind for a long time. I thought I would do missions, and that never happened because I met my husband, who at the time was a pro rodeo cowboy, and I went to nursing school because I thought I was going to be a nurse. And just a lot of things that God changed in an instant that didn't work out the way that we had planned it to. And in the first, round of motherhood, my daughter was like 3 or 4 months old. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm intelligent. I have all of these things that I could be doing, and I'm changing diapers all day, and I'm, feeding a baby all day. And I just felt really lost. And I started to really just kind of look for different avenues as an outlet for my energy, for my passion. And network marketing came along, and it's been such a gift to me because it's taught me things that I didn't know about running a business from home, residual income, like a lot of good things have come from that. But I felt like I was called to more. I felt like it was a good starting point, and I'm still part of a network marketing company now. Love it. Still building a team. Which I think is some of the foundational things that I learned was how to build a team, how to lead, how to truly step into some different roles and empower other people. Like, that's been the best part about it. How to dive into personal development, personal growth, like so many benefits, how to take care of yourself every single day, like so many benefits. But I've always felt called to more. I've always felt called to a broader audience. I feel like my call for mission, network marketing, was a different kind of mission work. It's mission work in the marketplace. And that's beautiful because you get to serve people with a product, and then you get to know their story, and you get to build deeper into that. And then my husband and I went through a really rough season financially, and I felt like, why is this happening to us? Like, why are we continuing to struggle with the same things financially? And it's because we weren't looking at the root problem. We were just looking at the Band-Aid issues, credit card debt, student loans, those kind of things. But we weren't looking at the root issues, which is how we spend money and why we spend money and why we feel compelled to spend money at different times. So through this season of struggle and frustration and lack of communication, the She Believe brand was born. It was just born as like an online community for women of faith who were just looking for a place to belong, looking for a place where they could come and they could share what they were learning with other women, and they could dive deeper into Bible study, and they could really start to apply the word to their life. That's how it started. And then it's gone so much deeper than that to now where I'm starting to open up coaching, and I've opened up a finance course where women can learn how my husband and I paid off $40,000 in medical debt in a year by being conscious of how we were spending our money. And when I say conscious, I know that, most people don't desire to be in debt. Most people don't desire to be financially frustrated or to have feelings of despair when they open their bank account. No one wants that. Everyone wants this abundance and success, and to have the things that they want to have. And that will come. But also, no one told me when I was 20 that it's a process, and you don't get into credit card debt overnight. You might actually, but it's going to take a while to pay off, especially if you don't know how to pay bills and you don't know how to budget and you have no concept of money. Like, that was something that I learned at 26 that I wish I would have learned when I was 16 because it would have made a difference. So this was born out of a need that I had. A need to really get a handle on my anxiety around finances, to stop saying that it was too hard, and to just figure out a way that worked for me. So I did Dave Ramsey, and I I love him. He is an incredibly intelligent man who has so many good principles for finances and debt payoff and that, but that didn't work for us. That was way too involved for me. I needed something so simple. My 5-year-old could do it. And that's what I created. I created a different way of budgeting. I used a couple of resources. So I started following Jordan Page from funcheaperfree.com because she is, they have a family of 10 now, but when they were a family of 5, they lived off $30,000 for a year and still paid off $15,000 in debt. And I'm like, how do you do that? And it was, so that's how she started, was she had a need, they needed to pay off debt. She figured it out and she shares those tools. She's a great person to follow. And then I also read the book, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, something like that. I read that book and I learned about money blueprints, how we are each different in our money blueprint based on the way that we were raised, maybe the things that we heard about finances growing up, what it takes to have a wealthy mind and to envision wealth for yourself, for your family, to be conscious of how you're spending money and how you speak of money. All of these things that seemed so like woo to me, all of a sudden were things that I needed. Like, you don't know that you need something until you need it. And then usually it's too late. But I started to really pay attention to how I spoke about money around my children, around myself. When I looked at my bank account, when I got paid every week, like I started to look at things differently. And instead of feeling like it wasn't enough, I was grateful for everything. I started to pay attention to how my husband spent money and how he saved money. He's an incredible saver. Like, we wouldn't have made it through this last year without his saving savviness. Like, he really is such a good saver, but he's also a big spender. So when he does spend, he spends a lot of money. Whereas I'm like little spends everywhere, like here, there, $10, $20, $30, which also adds up. So the Kingdom Finance course that I created, it's called A Wise Woman's Guide to Wealth. And it's based on principles surrounding finances and how the Bible tells us to be mindful of money. It's built with scripture. It's built around those things because the Bible is basically an instruction manual for us to use. We adapt it how we want to. We apply it to our lives, how we feel like in different seasons of life. But diving into scripturally how we're called to spend money, how the Proverbs 31 woman, how she could basically bankroll, Jesus's ministry. She could take care of things, how she lived. It's not just a how-to guide, but it's a guide for diving deeper into your faith and trusting God, like trusting his plan for you financially, trusting his plan for your family and for your business. I admire her as a businesswoman. I do too, yes. I want to be all the things that she is. But, so the budgeting system that I created is simple. You figure out with your spouse, if you're budgeting with your spouse, what your family budget looks like, where you're spending your money, what bills come out every single month for your household, what debt you have. Y'all figure that out together. You plan accordingly for that. But everything else, like I take care of groceries, I take care of kids' activities, I take care of business expenses, I take care of that kind of stuff. You break that down into a budget and you divide it based on the weeks of the month. I do it weekly. I'm not a monthly, can't do a full monthly thing. It's not my jam. I don't have the attention span for that. But you divide it based on weeks so that every single month or every single week, you have a certain amount of money to spend. You have a grocery budget and then you have everything else that you're doing. And then what's left over is what you're spending on your debt. So I set it up in percentages. It's 50 for living expenses. So maybe groceries, 10, 10, 10, 10 for tithes, 10 for savings, 10 for debt payoff, or 70, 30, 70, 10, 10, 10. So you're living off of 70, 10 savings, 10 tithes, 10 debt payoff. Just keeping it simple, keeping simple numbers, making it like whole rounded numbers. So if your grocery budget is $250 for the week, you have $250 for the week. If your total allowance for the week is $500, then you split, you do your math, however the percentages fall to keep it simple every single week. And whenever you spend over your grocery budget, you're borrowing from your other budget. So you add in a little money every single week so that you can still spend, so that you don't feel restricted, so that, you're conscious of the money that you're spending. You're still putting your money where it needs to go, making it work for you, but you're also getting fun money is what I call it, where you can go to the coffee shop if you want to, you can go out to eat one day. Like It could be anywhere from $25 to $100, depending on what your budget is, but you set it up based on what your need is. If you need to pay off debt, then obviously you're not going to have as much fun money or probably as much grocery money. I teach grocery tips, how to buy in bulk, how to buy on sales, how to use the sell ads, which my mom did super couponing when I was growing up. And I always thought that was the most annoying thing. But now I'm like, okay, look at the sell ads. You can use these apps to help you, find, it's annoying, but it works. It really does work. If it hadn't been for a need that I had for our family, that pressure that you just feel to get rid of the financial debt, this would have never happened. But I feel like that's how the best things are born. They're born out of a need, a problem that you have, and a solution that you need. And then you pay it forward and you offer it to other people. So it's been really interesting. We did our first course back, I think in June of last year. And then it's just been go, go, go. So I haven't run it again, but I'm probably going to launch it again mid-March, and just make it an evergreen course so that you can come in at any time. You still get the knowledge that you need.
I love that. And I think that's so important. A lot of the network marketers that I work with struggle with their finances. Like they join network marketing to help them get out of debt, help them get that financial freedom, but then they don't really know how to manage their business because most network marketers and women just aren't taught to manage finances growing up. They're not really from a business background. And so it's so important that if you want to be a serious businesswoman, you want to use your network marketing business, not only to get yourself out of debt, create that financial freedom, but also create that kingdom impact with your finances. It is important that you understand how money works and have that positive money mindset and have, like you said, a right budget in place that's going to allow you to do what you need to do for your family, for the kingdom. And I think just people they're almost like afraid to look at their money. They're afraid to take control of it. But that's really where your power comes from. And that's where you get to show up and use those gifts, those talents that you've been given for the kingdom. And you can't.
Well, and I think what you said there is so true, because I was so afraid to look at my credit card. I had 12 credit cards when we started this budgeting process. And I was in my second network marketing company. I was making a lot more money, but I was like, why do I still have no money at the end of the week? Right. Because I looked at my income as the ability to just spend what I wanted. Like it didn't apply to anything. I was just spending it frivolously instead of having a plan, a bigger vision. And what you said, that most people can only see what's right in front of them. Right. They don't see anything bigger. For me, I know God's called me to bigger things. And so I need to be a wealthy woman that's not entangled by debt, that doesn't have to ask her bank account before she can be generous. I will be debt free so that I can be generous when I am called to be generous, so that I don't have to consult with my finances in order to do it. That is freedom to me. That's what freedom is. Being able to have options of giving or spending or meeting needs and having the margin in your finances to do that. But it wasn't until I started, because you're right. Like most of us don't come into this with a business background. We're watching YouTube videos, we're reading books. Like I have a book on my desk right now, High Performance Habits. Like I have a whole bookshelf of these personal development books that have taught me so much about becoming a woman of the trade that I'm stepping into, being serious about it. You can take coaching courses, you can, hire a coach, you can do all of these different things now to learn without actually having a business degree. And that's empowering, but it can also be overwhelming. But I think whenever you know that you're called to more, I think being intentional about what you're doing gets a little scarier, because you're like, okay, I'm going to take care of this. And then what's God going to do? Like, what's going to happen next? And that, I feel like that has what kept me in self-sabotage, was being afraid of how God was going to use me and not knowing that he was going to use my imperfections and a struggle that I had to bless other people. And so I think for me personally, and for the women that I have worked with over the past year in Kingdom Finances, is just, how are you looking at the money that you're blessed with? Are you being a good steward of what you've been given? Because I definitely was not. And when I looked at it like that versus, well, I'm not making enough, or I'm not blah, blah, blah. And I changed the conversation to, are you being a good steward of the finances that you've been blessed with? You have been blessed financially. So what are you doing with your money? If it wasn't for your husband, who is an avid saver, where would you be right now? What would the
Right.
situation and conversation be around finances? The reason that you're stressed is because one, you're putting so much pressure on yourself to earn money, but you're not being a good steward. You're not being mindful of where you're spending money. You're just throwing it here and
Right.
there and then have no idea where it's gone once it's gone and wondering why you can't get out of this cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I fully believe that becoming conscious of what you're doing is half of the battle.
Yes.
And then once you're there, it's shifting the mindset, it's shifting the conversation. Once I figured this out, I stopped fighting with my husband about money because I didn't feel defensive about it anymore. I was like, here's the numbers. Here's what I want to work on. Here's the budget that I've laid out that will work for me. I will stick to this. Here's what will work for our family because this is basically what we're doing already. Here's where we could cut expenses. If you're willing, I'm going to cut these things on my end. And it's no longer a back and forth who's wrong. It's, I understand that I've made some poor decisions, but I want to work on this together. And I want this to be something that we can pass on in a solid conversation to our daughters. So we talk about, I talk about budgeting with my girls. I talk about spending money and tithing and those kind of things, because it's a conversation that we have to have with our children. If we ever want them to be responsible financially, if we don't want them to just do what I say and not what I do, you have to teach them why we're not doing this, the actions that have led to the stress and the frustration. And here's how not to do that. Here's how to be a better steward of your money, how to spend wisely, how to save wisely, so that we don't have to have Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University because we're being mindful the whole time.
Yes. Yeah. And once you get your budget set, like there's so many ways you can just automate it and kind of set it and forget it. So like you really only have to have that uncomfortable moment for just a moment. It doesn't have to be a lifelong, uncomfortable moment. It's like we have an account that's just for our bills and we know exactly what amount goes in there. We have a account for our savings and we know like 10% goes into savings. We're tithing our 10%. A lot of it is just like, self-deducted, like our church automatically takes out our tithe. So we don't have to forget about it and or forget to tithe, and then everything else, if you want to do extra, support somebody who's going on a mission trip or support a local charity or something, we have that excess funds. And then we, like you said, we have our fund money and we know, okay, our bills are taken care of, our savings is taken care of. We've been good stewards and given back to God. And now if we want to go have that coffee, we can. And if we want to do something extra, we can. And it like takes the stress off you. And you're paying off your debt. It's like momentary uncomfortableness for like a lifelong of comfort, if you will. And it's not as scary as you may think. If you feel like you're stuck in a lot of debt, or you feel like you're just like, I have all of these bills, I don't know what to do with it. It's really not as big as you're making it out to be in your mind. And once you just walk through, okay, here's my budget. And if you don't know how to do that, that's when you can go to Katie and get that help with her Kingdom Finance course, because that's going to walk you through how to create your budget and give you back the control. You're in a business for a reason, to have financial freedom. And if you're not getting financial freedom, you're doing it wrong. I'm just gonna tough love here. You're doing it wrong, because your business should be creating profit. You should not be spending more on your business, reinvesting in your business, than you're receiving. So if you're somebody who's struggling with your finances, if you're somebody who wants to actually use your business to create that financial freedom and then go out and create kingdom impact with it, I definitely want to recommend Katie's Kingdom Finance course. So Katie, where can people find you if they do want to work with you?
You can find me at shebelievebrand.com. There is a forum or something set up on there so that you can apply to join the group. There's also a freebie on there, but you can find me at Katie McGilvray on Facebook, at Mrs. Katie McGilvray on Instagram. Like, just type my name in, you'll find me.
Yeah.
I'm around.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time and just like diving into how to budget, how to create that kingdom impact with your extra finances, how to get off debt, pay off debt. I mean, this is huge. And I think a conversation that women entrepreneurs, especially kingdom entrepreneurs, need to be having. So once again, if you guys are struggling with your finances, please reach out to Katie and get control of that, because we want to we're both on a mission to create kingdompreneurs that are showing up with their mission-driven businesses and creating that kingdom impact. So we want that for you as well. So again, Katie, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you everybody for listening.
Yes, Brandie, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Rise Your Purpose will be a weekly podcast. Our hope is to inspire and educate you on your entrepreneurial journey to help you fuel your passions, live your purpose, and build a business that works for you.
You can subscribe, rate, and comment on any podcast app. We'd love to hear from you. It makes us so happy to see you tuning in to the show. So if you're on Instagram, let us know what your favorite part of the show was by taking a screenshot of the episode you tuned into and tag us at Live Victorious on your story. Let us know what your favorite quote or takeaway from the episode was so that we can be inspired to keep creating content like this for you.
To learn more about us and get involved with our community of mission-driven entrepreneurs, join our Facebook group, Purpose Partners, where we partner together in faith and business. So until next time, build a business that works for you and stay in alignment with your mission.